Maharishi Patanjali has beautifully described about this sutras. Actually, 41 to 51 is my favorite sutras because when I said 41, there was so much of confusion, and sir explained that in the class, and there I got it clearly, and I got this chance of today to say the same sutra, so I'm so grateful. So we'll start. Hari Om. So 41 to 45 sutras, here Patanjali Maharshi is describing about the different positions of samapatis. Here we have to know something before we start the samapati is I would like to share is Patanjali Maharshi says we have to understand and distinguish between samapati and samadhi. Samadhi and samapatis both are different identity. So we have to understand and handle both as different. Samapati is a process, it's a process of transformation. Whereas samadhi is an end to that transformation. Samapati's end result is samadhi. So this clarity has to be there as a sadhak. We have to have this clarity. That is what I feel to share first before we start. So I will just start with the 41 first sutra. Here it says, Shina Vrityer Abhijatasyeva Maner Grahitru Grahana Grayeshu Tatsta Tadanjanata Samapatihi. So beautifully is explained. Kshina Vrityer. Kshina Vrityer means vrittis are weakened or vrittis are decreased. Vrittis of what? Of our chitta. Of our chitta, the vrittis are weakened or decreased. Abhijatasya. Abhijatasya here, Maharishi Patanjali here, he refers to as perfection. Perfection means faultless, transparent. Eva, like money. Money here, he says, money means a jewel, a perfect jewel. Here he means a perfect jewel. So here it means Kshina Vrittir Abhijatasya means a perfect weakened vrittis is like a perfect crystal. What a beautiful way of comparing vrittis with crystal. It really hits me so much that, I love to read this slow sutra very much so. Shina Vrittir Abhijatasya Mane, Chitta with weakened vrittis is like a perfect crystal. A perfect money, what is the quality of a perfect money? Grahitru, one who grasps, the perceiver. Grahana means grasping, perceiving. Grayeshu means the object of perception. That's the, in its place, exactly, Tadanjanata, in its color, is samapati, is put together. Samapati is when the chitta has weakened vrittis or a low frequency vrittis, and the chitta rests on either the knower, knowing, or the know. Like a perfect crystal, take their perfect respective quality. Samapati is here, so the grahitru, the chitta or the sadhak or the yogi undergoes a process, becomes one with that object to be comprehended, the graya itself. This identification becomes chitta vishya. There's no distinction. Meditator becomes the object of meditation. Chitta establishes and forms the identification of the object. So very beautifully compared. Maharishi Patanjali says, we should remember the object of meditation, how important it is. The object of contemplation, how important it is. Why we choose on what subject, what object we choose, what material we choose to meditate. It's so important. Chitta becomes one that process of becoming one is samapati. That is why this particular sutra has gained a lot of importance in Yoga Darshan of Maharshi Patanjali. A beautiful sutra to ponder on. We'll see how he explains other samapatis in the next sutra. So we continue the 42nd sutra. Tatra shabdartha jnana vikalpe sankirna savitarka samapati. Tatra means the state of samapati described in the previous sutra. Tatra. Shabda is verbal, or you can say inward or verbal. In words, artha means is meaning, the purpose or the meaning. Jnana means knowledge. Vikalpahe is the imagination, the imaginary things. Sankirna here, it means a confused state or a mixed up to create some confusion in our thoughts. Is savitarka, is that thought called savitarka. Samapati means merging. So here it comes as in savitarka samadhi, there will be a mixture of words, meanings, and knowledge. There will be a state of confusion. That is the result of these words, the meaning, what we understood and what we understand, the knowledge, what we get from learning or through words or recitations or through so many ways of grasping the knowledge. That is the state of chitta, which is savitarka samapati. What is the word conveys to a meaning is in our day-to-day life also, like we observe that so many times we try to talk to our very close family members, or especially with our partner. It happens that, we mean to say something, what was heard was something, or sometimes they take it in a different way. On what we try to say may not be the way they are taking it. So it is all creates a lot of confusion, but the correct words used are maybe the same, but there are so many various interpretation. Like sir in the class, he speaks, he talks about the sutras, he conveys the meaning, he interprets, but it is not necessary that we all have to take it the same way. We have our own taking up the interpretation in different ways. So here Maharshi Patanjali says that is a natural process of our chitta to go through that human tendency of getting into that confusion of state of mind. Because of that is the Sankirna. Here he explains Sankirna is, what I understood is that it's the confusion stage of the mind. And Savitarka is that thought. So we have to treat that Savitarka Samapati is in that process, which is the confused state of mind. So we shall go to the next sutra, continuing the series of Samapati only. So here it goes. Smriti Parishuddhau Swarupa Shunye Varta Matra Nirbhasa Nirvitarka. Smriti Parishuddhau. Smriti means memory. Parishuddho is the purification, the thorough cleaning which is happening, the purification happening. Swarupa means one's own form, one's own identity. Shunya means empty. Eva is like artha in the sense, matra, only very little. Nirbhasa, clear, shining, or Nirbhasa, illumination, we can say. Illumination. Nirvitarka is something beyond the thought. Here Nirvitarka is beyond, something which is beyond the means. So when our memory, the mind or the chitta is purified, devoid of its quality, it will shine like the object on the clarification of the memory, or you can say purification of the memory. And the real knowledge of the object alone shines. That alone shines. That is devoid through the purification, cleaning, transformation, one's own form, devoid of its artha, the word, its meaning, and the object denoted are so well blended that distinctions among them no longer exist. Parishuddha comes out of the removal of exertions of the samskaras. Since we have our old samskaras are stored in our karmashaya, so what happens through this purification is actually from the karmashaya. As the karmashaya gets purified, so the link of smriti, the parishuddhota, the smriti gets purified. So there's a link between samskara, karmashaya, smriti, parishuddhata. So from the memory, it is purified through the removal of samskaras. The samskaras are the impressions, the tendencies which are imprint in our chitta. So smriti, as smriti gets cleansed up, is getting cleansed up in the samskaras, and where the samskaras are stored is in our karmashaya. So these are the interlinking subtle connection within. So this transition of chitta from the earlier sutra, what we said, samapatis to nirvitarka samapati, the chitta transforms effortlessly, automatic process only after the perfection. So when the smriti is completely cleansed, purified, when this happens during the meditation, the meditator has to go through a practice for a long time. Maybe the memory, the smriti, the receptacle becomes purified. We are able to distinguish from one another. This is called nirvitarka samadhi. The word, its meaning, and the object are so well blended. When even the imprints of memory clear up and it feels like one's own form is absent, such a state where only artha, the essence, shines through is called nirvitarka samadhi. So we shall see the next sutra, 44. We continue with the samapatis. Here, Patanjali Maharshi says, Etayaiva savichara nirvichara cha sukshma vishaya vyakhyata. Etayaiva, having by this, aiva, like, thus, savichara with vichara. Savichara is with vichara, inner reflection. Nirvichara, that is maybe self-reflection or without vichara, we can say. Cha and sukshma. What is sukshma here? The subtle object. Vishaya is the subject. Here, vyakhyata. Vishaya is the subject, the phenomenon. Vyakhyata, here it is described as explained. Having explained, a sadhak of a clear, calm, and tranquil mind can focus either on a minute or a bigger physical entity, and how such a yogi or a meditator can effortlessly switch to both and yet remain unaffected by a pure idea of an object of concentration. Here, with a crystal clear mind, a pure idea, an object of concentration is described. It is so beautifully said. It is by these two samapatis that the subtle concepts of savichara, thoughtfulness, nirvichara, thoughtlessness are described. Savichara samadhi, the samadhi where the mind stands still, no fluctuations, remains absorbed in that idea with full awareness of the process of absorption. We can say the awareness of this concentration is like behind, and thus the state of mental stability can be called nirvichara samadhi. The mind and the idea are so blended that they have become one. This leads to that experience, aham brahmasmi. Aham brahmasmi is I am that. So beautifully said. So we shall go for the next sutra. Sukshma Vishayatvam Chalinga Paryavasanam. Sukshma means here again, Maharshi Patanjali says, Sukshma, the subtle, Vishayatvam cha. Vishayatvam, the thing itself, the object itself, cha. Alinga, without any form, by the meditator, uses without any form. This, by meditation or samapatis, the process of transformation is happening from the gross to the sukshma level. The last culmination is happening. Chitta ends and stays there as a final, as in the final stage, extends up to the formless stage of subtle energy. Alinga means without any form. This subtle state only remain as long as there is the perception of a form and sees the exist beyond that. So that is what here Patanjali Maharshi says in the 45th Sutra. So we shall go the next Sutra, the 46th. Here, 46th Sutra says, Ta eva sabija samadhi. Ta eva sabija samadhi. So, we shall see what is sabija samadhi. Ta eva. This eva only also sabija with seed. Samadhi, the oneness, the integration with seed. There are also all those samapatis, what we saw in the previous sutras, they give rise to one single samadhi that is called the sabija samadhi. We saw savitarka samadhi, we saw nirvitarka samadhi, samapati, savichara samapati, nirvichara samapati. They are all the process of transformation leading to sabija samadhi. The one is the process and one is the end of this result, which is sabija. Sabija plus samadhi, they can be a singular. So according to Maharshi Patanjali, all four samapatis are not samadhis individually, but they have given rise to one single samadhi. Maharshi named it as sabija samadhi. So sabija samadhi is a culmination of the previous four, or the culmination of each one. This may stay within us for days, weeks together, months together, or just few hours. The chitta may be in that particular state based on the object of the meditation. When the object is subtle in the sukshma, it is savichara samadhi, nirvichara. When the object is in the physical or gross, savitarka or nirvitarka. There is a seed, maybe a single thought or a single object. The chitta experience happiness, joy, experience of ananda, bliss. The subtle states of only remains as long as there is perception of a form and sees the exist beyond that. So this is like measuring rod to keep us in the path of meditation. Practice of meditation, there should be a sense of happiness. All those are sabija samadhi, each one individual leading to the state of sabija. Object may be external or gross, sukshma, or we can say savitarka, savichara or nirvichara. This all leads to sabija samadhi. So we shall go 47th Sutra here. What is sabija state of mind? What is sabija? Nirvichara vaisharadhye adhyatma prasadaha. Nirvichara vaisharadhye adhyatma prasadaha. Nirvichara means something which is not like, what you can say, Nirvichara means not reflecting. Vaisharadhye is like the purity, the very pure. Adhyatma is the spiritual, the innermost self of us. And prasadaha is that clarification what we get. So here Patanjali Maharshi says, through the skill and competence in nirvichara, thoughtless state of meditation, one enters the realm of adhyatma, or getting into the spiritual in the spirituality way of life, the path. So that is what he is explaining in this 47th Sutra. Nirvichara Vaisharadhye Adhyatma Prasadaha. So we shall go to the 48th Sutra, which is so beautiful and it's really hits me so beautifully. Ritambara Tatra Prajna. Ritambara Tatra Prajna. Another most important sutra. This is also related to our daily life. Yeah. Sorry. Ritambara Tatra Prajna talks about the cognition. Tatra here is that state, faculty of cognition. Ritambara Tatra Prajna means absolute. Ritam means absolute truth. Ritambara is that absolute truth. It sees the core, the exact truth. There is no interpretation in this truth. This truth is visualized, that knowledge which is full, which comes out of our transformation. The ability to perceive, to conceive into, and to see and understand. That is the ability to, that is what I understand, to see the truth. Cultivating prajna, the wisdom, is that through cultivating the prajna, through, you can say, the practice, through the practice, the knowledge, we come into that state where, you know, the cosmic truth, which is so internal, you cannot compare with any outside, what you can say, like through any outside learning or grasping. This Ritambara Prajna is something which comes from within, through our intuitive knowledge. This, the sixth sense or the intuitive mind, this comes through only from the practice. What is the difference between Ritam and Satyam? Satyam is something which is relative truth, which is we get it through from the outside source. But whereas Ritam is the cosmic truth, the eternal, the internal truth, which cannot be changed, which is steady and which is still. Constant practice of meditation gives this perception of Ritambara Tatra Prajna. So Maharishi Patanjali says this so beautifully, that cultivating this prajna, of practicing this meditation through the stages and layers, we come into this Ritambara Tatra Prajna, the true reality of our existence, through the realm of Ritambara. So we shall see the 49th Sutra now. Shrutanumana prajnabhyam anya vishaya visheshartatvat. So beautifully said. Shrutanumana prajnabhyam anya vishaya visheshatvat. The knowledge which comes through the Shruta, the Anumana, the knowledge of the special thing that, you know, you get through from our practices, our knowledge, listening to what we listen to in our class. These are all the process of Shrutanumana Prajnabhyam. Anya, other, Vishaya, object, Vishesha, difference, distinction, is Ardhatvat, function, the role. So here Patanjali Maharishi says, mostly in our life, we get knowledge through Shrutanumana, the inference, what we get from, through our experiences, through our knowledge. The inference may be after reading, listening, after contemplating. All these are covered in this word. But the important phrase is Vishesha Arthatvat. That knowledge cannot be wrongly used or misused, it is incapable of misusing. The outside knowledge the knowledge which we get through information, inference, is through our intellectual. But Vishesha Arthatvat is something intuitive knowledge which comes from within. through our, so beautifully said, through our sixth sense, through our continuous practice of meditation. Like in the seventh sutra, Patanjali Maharshi says, Pratyaksha Anumana Agama is available through the realm of our intellect, through the testimony. But here he says, after that, but there is a chance to be, that can go wrong, that can go sometimes right or wrong, we don't know. But basically it is come through indriyas or through from our sense organs. So the reference and inference is a part of, maybe in our day-to-day life, we are affected by all these references, testimonies, because of this sometimes insufficient knowledge, possibility of error, anxiety develops through this outside knowledge. There are chances, or we get into so many times with wrong knowledge, you know, we end up suffering, we go through so much of anxiety, we go through so much of stress. These are all due to that outside knowledge. But realizing is the real religion. Practice and realization has higher pedestal than mere and intellectual gaming. That is what he tries to say in this sutra, 49th sutra. Now we shall go to the 50th sutra. Tajja samskaro anya samskara pratibandhi. So beautiful. Tajja, that which is born of samskara, produced from that, coming from that samskara, the impression stored in our karmasya. Anya, other samskara, those samskaras, anya samskara, latent impressions, pratibandhi, prevents, removes all other samskaras. So here Patanjali Maharshi is trying to say how beautifully he's saying that those samskaras which are in our memory, or which are through our impressions, you know, in our life or past life, those samskaras which is born out of that past impressions are already there in our memory. But those samskaras which are born out of Ridambara Prajna removes all the samskaras. It acts as a counteract, pratibandhi, prevents, it just obstructs. For example, when we sit for meditation or in silence, so many thoughts arises, so many thoughts jumps out of our mind. How to avoid? By practice of Ridambara Prajna. Those samskaras which is arised from the purified mind, clear mind, as the process of purification happens, they work as a counter to all the other samskaras. It works like a pratibandhi. So beautifully, Maharishi Patanjali says this dimension of opening up the samskara pratibandhi. The impressions born out of this perception prevents all other inherent compulsive tendencies of all kinds of impurities. Samskaras are released out through the Anya samskara. And that is the pratibandhi that prevents to have any more new samskaras. So we come to the 51, the last sutra of the Samadhi Pada. Tasyapi nirodhe sarva nirodhat nirbija samadhi. Tasyapi nirodhe sarva nirodha nirbija samadhi. Totally detachment. The last sutras we saw how we come out of the samskaras. And here, tasya, of that, api, also, nirodhe, stilling, even of that, sarva, all, nirodha, stilling, restrictions is nirbija, that is the seedless samadhi. There is no other samskaras are in the nirbija. That's the seedless samadhi. On suppression of even that, going of all that suppression, nirbija samadhi is no new samskaras come in that. All the previous sutra we see, even that pratibandhi prevents in sabija. New samskaras come, that new works as a preventive, pratibandhi to all other samskaras. But even that samskaras which worked as pratibandhi is also removed. So beautiful. It is also removed. For example, like if we get a thorn is stuck in our feet, in a sole of feet, how do we remove it? The thorn is already stuck in our feet, the sole of the feet. The existing thorn we need to remove. How do we remove? We use another thorn. We use other thorn to remove that existing thorn, and we throw both the thorns away. So that is the important dimension here. Finally, removing that which is used and remove both. That is the nirbija samadhi state, a stage where no samskaras, no impressions, no dust at all. That is called the nirbija samadhi, the oneness, the integration with our own soul. That's why the best way to conclude this chapter is Patanjali Maharshi teaches us like the waves, the different waves in our life comes. There are waves which comes and goes. There are, secondly, the best way to repress them is going through the different waves. Thirdly, there will be one wave so strong that suppress all other waves. That wave is the soul, which is manifested as it is in its own glory. Then alone we know that soul is not a compound. It is only eternal, immortal. It cannot be born or die. That is the ever-living essence of intelligence. When even this perception, everything else is stopped under one's control, such a state is called nirbija samadhi, a state of equanimity, stillness. I would like to conclude this chapter of Samadhi Pada. Actually, Samadhi Pada, according to Maharshi Patanjali, is for the Uttama Sadhakas. There are 3 types of sadhakas: Uttama Sadhaka, Madhyama Sadhaka, Adhyatma Sadhakas. Considered for the Prathama Pada is considered for the Uttama Sadhakas, who are very sincere, committed in the path. This particular Pada is all considered to be the higher level of consciousness, deeper level of consciousness. That is how Patanjali Maharshi has concluded Samadhi Pada for us to understand. And we go our best way to practice this level after level, layer after layer, to reach to that state of mind of nirbija samadhi. So I have no words to say that it has hit me so much, this Pada, which really has personally touched me. This sutras from 41 to 51. So I would like to conclude that we shall all go through this journey of Samadhi Pada to reach the level where we feel there's nothing but only a seedless nirbija samadhi. I conclude with the prayer. Iti Patanjali Yoga Darshani Samadhi Pado Nama Sampurnam Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் மாதா.
Thank you, sir.
So Nehaji conclude this Samadhipada or Uttama Sadhaka, Uttama அதிகாரிகளுக்கு. ஸோ இந்த கன்க்ளூட்ல இருந்து நாமளும் என்ன தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம் அப்படின்னா, இந்த முதல் பாதத்தை கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணதுனால நாமெல்லாம் உத்தம அதிகாரிகள், உத்தம சாதகர்கள். ஸோ
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's like I'm so personally going through that phase of each stage when Maharishi Patanjali explains, it really penetrates inside me, and it's only each level so beautifully he has explained. It has touched my heart. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for all that revealing out through this sutras. It's only through you as an instrument of Maharishi Patanjali that we could at least get this glimpse of what we understand in each level, in each chapter. Really full of gratitude. Thank you so much, sir. Varga Valmudan.
Thank you, Mata. Thank you. So very nice explanation from 41 to 51. Okay. Thank you, Mata. We will conclude the session. All of you. Good, Mata. Okay, no words to say. No, it's silent. Okay. எனக்கு இங்கிலீஷ் தெரியாதுங்கிறது அப்பாற்பட்ட விஷயம், அது வேற பக்கம் இருக்கும். இருந்தாலும் சொல்ல முடியல, பேச முடியல. ஓகே, பரவாயில்ல. ஆனா ஒரு லாங்குவேஜே தெரியாம இந்த அளவுக்கு ஸோ இதை கேட்ச் பண்ணி இவ்வளோ அழகா வந்து அது கொண்டு வந்திருக்கீங்க. இந்த அளவுக்கு பண்ணுவீங்க அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து தெரியல. இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் ஒருத்தர் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டா இருந்து படிப்பாங்களா அப்படின்ட்டு. நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி நான் ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட், பட் அதை பயன்படுத்திக்கிட்டு உங்களுடைய பிராப்தம், உங்களுடைய அந்த பூர்வ ஜென்ம புண்ணியங்கள், அது பதஞ்சலி மகரிஷி எடுத்துட்டு போயிட்டு இருக்காரு. ஸோ தஸ்யாபி நிரோதே சர்வநிதா நிரோதா நிர்பீஜ சமாதி. ஸோ சர்வ சம்ஸ்காரங்களும் நிரோதம் அடைந்து எல்லாம் வல்ல இறைவனை நீர் அடைவாயாக. வாழ்த்துக்கள் அம்மா. வாழ்க வளமுடன். All of you sit in comfortable posture. Keep your hands in Namaskar Mudra. Gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and long breathe out. Now take a deep breath in. Chant Om. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृतेः स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. हरिः ओम्. श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम्. Feel the nice vibration. Feel the calmness of your mind. அமைதியான இந்த மனநிலையோடு உலகில் உள்ள எல்லா உயிர்களையும் எல்லா மனிதர்களையும் மனம் விரிந்து வாழ்த்தி மகிழலாம். உலகில் உள்ள எல்லா உயிர்களும் எல்லா மனிதர்களும் அமைதியாகவும் ஆரோக்கியமாகவும் ஆனந்தமாகவும் தங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை வாழ்ந்து கொண்டிருக்கட்டும். எல்லா உயிர்களும் எல்லா மனிதர்களும் நம் புண்ணியங்களை பகிர்ந்து கொள்ளட்டும். நம் புண்ணியங்களை பகிர்ந்து கொள்ளட்டும். நம் புண்ணியங்களை பகிர்ந்து கொள்ளட்டும். எல்லா உயிர்களும் எல்லா மனிதர்களும் விடுதலை பெறட்டும். விடுதலை பெறட்டும். விடுதலை பெறட்டும். ஓம் சாந்தி சாந்தி சாந்தி. Gently rub your palms, keep on your eyes. Bring awareness on your eyes. Feel the warmness. Gently open your eyes and slowly remove your palms. See the palms with a smile. Feel happy. Be happy. அனைவரும் மகிழ்ச்சியோடு இருங்கள், மகிழ்ச்சியோடு இருங்கள். மங்களம் உண்டாகட்டும், மங்களம் உண்டாகட்டும். வாழ்க வளமுடன்.